All right, appraisers, this is Brandon again with Spark for Appraisers, and in this video we're going to be covering the grouped data method, which is another method that appraisers can use to come up with a potential adjustment for whatever feature you're measuring of a particular property. Okay, so essentially, group data, also known as grouped matched pairs or aggregate differences, I believe is another name for it, is a method where you group all of your properties or some of your properties into two categories, and then you compare the results of those two categories. One really simple and easy way to illustrate this is with swimming pool. Now, what you're looking at is a spreadsheet that I made. I know some of you are aware of it. This is not a marketing video. I'm not trying to get you to buy this. I don't even sell this spreadsheet anymore, but this is a spreadsheet that I built that basically I loaded in all the properties that I, as the appraiser, said are competing with my subject property. I also separately loaded in another set of data, which I said are all the properties in my defined neighborhood boundaries. And then what I did is I just got the results using group data for both of those data sets separately. And here's kind of how it works. I loaded in all the competing properties, and then it just told me, it analyzed the data, and it said, okay, out of all those properties you uploaded, 12 of them have an in-ground swimming pool, and 18 have no pool. So I got a total of 30 properties, 12 with a pool, 18 without, and these are the results based on that analysis. It's really straightforward and simple, and let me show you how it works. Basically, we took the average price of all those properties with a pool and subtracted the average price of all the properties without a pool. So I'm just going to do that math here, 283,925 minus 268,461, and that gave us 15,464. And basically what that math is telling us, that 15,464, is that based on group data and those competing properties, that would be your potential adjustment for a swimming pool. I say potential because I don't think that's necessarily the adjustment you want to use. You probably want to consider multiple methods, but based on group data, that's the result for the swimming pool adjustment using average price. Pretty simple and straightforward. And then the other thing we can do is the median price, which is right here. So I'm just going to show you one more time, 283,750 minus 269. That's this minus this, the median price of each category or group. And we have 14,750, and that's the result right there. Now we can complicate it a little bit by determining using price per square foot. Sometimes that's helpful, sometimes it's not, but let me just show you how you would do that. Essentially, I got the average price per square foot of all those with a pool, the average price per square foot of all those without. That's a difference of $6. And I'm guessing here, before we do the math, let's just get more decimal places on there. So that gives us 188.40 and 182.14. And so I can go 188.40 minus 182.14. And that tells us that the overall price difference is $6.26 per square foot between these two groups of properties. And now what I need to do to help me actually get to an adjustment is I need to multiply that by the average GLA of all 30 of those properties. And I happen to know that because it's right over here. It's 1498. So let me just go right back to where we were. We're right here. And I'm just going to multiply that by 1498. And that gives us $9,377. I think there was a little issue rounding there because it doesn't match exactly right here, but it just has something to do with rounding. I'm guessing if I had gone out to more decimal places. So that's it. That's how you get a potential adjustment based on price per square foot. Again, sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not. I liked seeing all three results here just so I can get an idea of what kind of the range was, but it's just up to you how you prefer to look at it. That's our first example using swimming pool, which is, again, probably the simplest to go with because the groups are kind of predefined for you. All those with a pool, all those without a pool. Now let's get into something a little different, which is bathrooms. Let's go and look at that now. So what I did is I looked at all properties that have 2 full baths versus all properties that have 3 full baths. And these are my results. I got an average sale price and I got the median sale price. And here's the mathematical results from those. And you can see that there is quite a range from $4,000 up to $37,000. And then when I looked at my broader neighborhood, which I defined as all of those single family homes in my defined neighborhood boundaries, whether they compete with my subject or not, my results are even more outrageous, from negative 45,000 to 107,000. And so that causes me to want to look at this further and make sure I can actually rely on these results, because when they're so far apart like that, that causes me to want to pause and look a little deeper at it. And what I can see here right off the bat, the thing that strikes me is for the number of sales, 29 properties sold with 2 full baths and only 1 sold with 3 full baths. That basically tells me that this data probably is, or well, not probably, but is definitely not useful to me in coming up with an adjustment, because I'm basically analyzing only one piece of data when it comes to properties with 3 full baths. That'd be like having a grid with only one component. You're not going to ever base your opinion of value on one property. It's the same thing with adjustments. You don't want to just rely on 1 or 2 or even 3 properties. I would definitely want more than that in there if it was possible. Due to those 2 factors, these being so far different and this being 1, and then on top of that, these numbers being so far different, makes me think these numbers are not reliable, and I probably don't want to place much weight, if any, on the group data method when it comes to deriving a full bath adjustment. If I did want to, though, again, it's pretty straightforward. Average price minus average price, or median price minus median price, or the price per square foot method we talked about. Okay, now let's get into another method, which will be GLA. GLA, it's a little different because you don't just have an easily definable group like all those with 2 baths and all those with 3 baths, because here with GLA or with lot size, you're going to have kind of a range more than you are just a set group defined by one number. So what I've done is I've grouped all of those competing properties, and I also did it with my broader neighborhood. I grouped them into these 2 groups here. So I looked at all properties between 1250 and 1500 square feet, and then I looked at all properties between 1500 and 1750 square feet. My results here are that there are 16 properties that meet the requirements of this group and 14 that meet the requirements of this group. Okay, that seems pretty good. They're fairly similar groups as far as size, so that's nice. And then down here, it shows you the average GLA and the median GLA of both of those. So this group had an average GLA of 1633, and this was 1381. And then down here, I've got the average and median price, which is very similar to what you saw down here with baths or with swimming pool. So let's go ahead and do the math there just so we can take a look at it. First, we'll take, just like we did before, the average price of one of the groups minus the average price of the other group. And that gives us $16,105. So essentially, that $16,105 is the value difference between this group and this group. And now that accounts for some certain number of square feet of GLA. And so now we just got to find out what that is. And so for that, we do the 1633, which is the GLA of the larger group, minus the GLA of the smaller group, so minus 1381. Then we can say that that $16,105 is accounting for the difference of 252 square feet on average. And so then we just do that math, 16,105 divided by the 252. And that gives us our price per square foot, which is basically $64. And that's the number we have right there. And then, of course, we can do the same thing with median price, and we can do the same thing with the broader neighborhood, which is that. So this is competing property results, and this is the neighborhood property results. Again, I'd say this, at least the competing properties, I'd say, yeah, this might be some legitimate numbers I can rely on. Fairly decent sized groups, fairly equal, and I think I have good data for both. So this is something I feel like I could rely on. Okay, I think that's it for showing you how this works. You can obviously do the same thing with age difference, get the average price of that group, the average price of that group, divide by the average age difference, or the average lot size difference or the average bedroom difference or whatever it happens to be, and that gives you your adjustment. So anyways, that's how it works. Group data, again, fairly simple and straightforward. You just group everything into two categories or two groups. You take the average or median price, subtract it from the average or median of the other group, and that is your result. Again, as I say in all my videos, not one of these methods, this group data being this method we're talking about today, not one of these methods is the right method to use every time. In some markets, certain methods work better than others, and for some features, certain methods work better than others. So that's just kind of up to you to play around with the numbers, get the results, and see what methods work best for you in whatever markets and for whatever features. Okay, that is it. Again, what I'd recommend is always run multiple methods. That way you can get a bunch of different results from multiple methods and kind of throw out the ones that are garbage, like, for example, this one, when it comes to full bath, where we only have one result here and it's given us wonky numbers. You know, that's probably trash. Get rid of it. Okay, I'm done talking now. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of these videos in the future, and we will talk to you on the next one.